So I have been coding since 2020, and I really wish someone told me these 7 things before I wasted my years in figuring it out in the hard way. So let me just save your 6 plus years. So you will not even regret later on repeating the same mistake which I have already committed before. Because if you are going to do the same mistake, it is not even worth watching this video and wasting your 5 to 6 years down the line. I have been working as a software developer for the last 3 years before even I have any kind of degrees. So the first mistake I have done as a beginner, you do not need to know everything to start. And when I started my coding, after learning few of the languages, I started to learn web developments. And in that web development, I have gone through one of the language which is JavaScript, which is more challenging as of now. And I used to think of this way that why most of the developer is so good in JavaScript. And I was just struggling in that case. And then later I figured out, and I used to think that they are so good. They have already memorized all the concept of the JavaScript, and now they have been developing flawlessly without any errors. They just wake up, start writing the codes, a beautiful code, and make things happen. Whatever the thing they wanted to build according to their application. But then I realized that coding is more about understanding the pattern than that just memorizing it. And the good developer is not about memorizing all those things. They are good at finding the solution when they need, how to find the solution, how to think through the problems, and even how to stay calm when they are frustrated. Because in this journey, you might get frustrated sometimes. Even if everything looks fine and nothing works, even if you have tried a lot of the times doing the same and not able to figure out what actually the solution is. So here in this case, if you can Google the basic thing, you're good to go. Congratulations. And the second one here is how to learn. Most of the beginner do the mistake in their starting career is most of the beginner try to code before even understanding and learning how to actually learn the things. In the starting phase, I used to be going through the tutorials maybe 5 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. And I used to be thinking that I was so much productive. But in general, it was not the case. It is something like that you want to learn second language to speak and you are just listening to it. It doesn't make sense that you will be able to learn these things faster and effectively. Because if you want to learn to speak one of the language, then definitely you should start speaking those and keep practicing to speak that second language. And then only you will get better on it and you will learn it most efficient way. And that is the reason I just shift my mode from just consuming to creating something. Because when I am creating, I have to think, and that is the way we learn the thing faster. Because our mind has to take some effort to think it before even going to do something. So here in this case, what you should be doing is, so for every 1 hour watching the tutorials and understanding the concept, you should at least invest 4 hours building without it, so that you will be able to learn fast. And yes, it's okay, you might get some time stuck somewhere. You just have to Google it, find the solution, again start doing. You might break some time, again Google it, and you will be able to find the solution. And just keep repeating the same, and that is what actually you are going to learn the things. So in short, we have to learn by doing, not just watching and listening. And the third point here is perfectionism is a trap. It is just a lie. I remember when I started my coding journey, and initially when I was going to build something, I was so much concerned of naming convention. What I should be naming that variables, that function. It was just taking me around 10 to 15 minutes, even sometimes half an hour to decide what would be the naming of that variable and function. That you should not do the same. You are never ever going to write the flawless code. Even the senior software developers sometimes push the code which breaks, but they know how to fix it faster. Because if you are just pursuing the perfectionism, it is kind of thing like you want to learn the painting, but you have the brush and you do not want to touch the canvas. Because you are afraid that your first drawing will not be the masterpiece. And definitely it will not be the masterpiece. And it is not supposed to be even. So once I stopped being so much obsessed over being perfectionist while I am building something, I started to ship early as soon as possible. Later on we can fix it. Whatever the problem is there, whatever the optimization is there, I will be able to do this. And this perspective has completely changed the way I used to be thinking of. Because even ugly code, sometimes makes you to learn more than what actually the beautiful code which you have written with perfectionism. And it is so much important to know about this perfectionism is I have made one of the video here. Please go through once and later on you will not regret watching this video, because if you are coming to this after maybe 2 to 3 years, I have explained everything in details with complete research, so that if you miss this later on you might regret not worth watching this one. And why it is so much important for us to avoid this perfectionism and start building something and do things faster, and definitely you will leave 90% of the people behind. You don't even have the idea. So please go through this once and thank yourself later on. And the fourth one here is you will definitely never feel ready to start something. You will never feel ready to build that first project. You will never feel ready to apply for that job. You will never feel even ready to charge for what actually you have built. Because these are the mistakes which I have experienced before, and I do not want you to make the same mistake. I was thinking of and kept waiting to that magical moment when I will feel a real dev and real developer, but it never came. It's kind of like going to the gym if you want to start, and you're saying that if I will get into the safe and then after I will start working out, and it is not even going to happen at all. You just have to show up, even if it feels messy in the beginning. You just have to start small, and that's it. Because the real confidence is not built by just merely thinking about this and just saying through this. You just have to start doing it, and that is where the real confidence comes from. And the same applies for the code when you are started learning to code. So always remember, you are always more ready than you think. You just have to start, even if it is messy. Just keep going on. If there is any difficulties, just resolve this and just keep going on, even if you do not feel like you are ready. You can go through with one of my first ever video I have uploaded. I was not even feeling ready to upload that video. I was not even feeling ready to record that one. But I have just made it. No such fancy background, no such thing like standing on the rooftop, and just hit the record button and recorded it and made it happen. Because if I have not even started recording that first video, I would have not even recorded this video itself. If we have not even started with the first one, how it is going to be happen that you are going to record the second one and the third and the next one? It all started with the first step. So you just have to start, even if you are not feeling like you have to start as of now. And the fifth one is the real skill is actually solving the problem. Here it is very important and interesting thing generally no one talks about. In coding, the real skill is not about writing the codes, it's about actually solving the problem, using that code as a tool. It is not so much important to have the concept of for loop if you can't even implement the repeated lines of codes in that for loop. Literally, if you can't even figure out what actually the problem is, even if it seems like there is no kind of problems out there in that specific feature, can you figure out why something is broken, even if everything looks fine and nothing is broken? The real magic is in asking the right question, thinking through the problems and understanding them well enough. Because if you could understand the problem itself, the half of the solution you have already figured out. Even sometime you will go through a complete frustration. Even after 3 years of experience, I go through these kind of challenges as well. You know, the developer you generally admire the most is very good at fixing the bugs, understanding the problems, and solving that problem. So what you have to do is just stop thinking like what you have to write. You have to start thinking like why it is written in that way. Always try to build the thinking muscle, not the typing speed. And the sixth one is nobody care about your codes. They care about what it does. Yes, it might hurt you a little, but this is the reality which you have to accept it. Nobody cares. Not even your manager, not even your clients, not even your users. I remember once I have written the codes and built a complete modules, and the feature was to extract complete sales order information which has already been placed by the user in one of the e-commerce store, and send the same file as an attachment to that of the client's mail. and it was all good. I was feeling proud. Somehow it has been implemented by 2 to 3 days. But then after client asked me, can we just do this for the order which has already been completed only? So it doesn't matter how good you have written the codes, it doesn't matter how good you have implemented it. What it matters is it fulfilling the solution for the problem they have been facing? Is it just meeting the expectation of the client requirement? If it does, everything is just the exception, or it is just optional. Think of it like the plumbing, right? Nobody looks under the sink because your pipes are tidy and clean. What they just want the water to run through. That's it. So always remember that, write the codes that actually works and solves the problems. And if it is clean and efficient, then great. And the seventh one is, the burnout is real. Yes, you heard it right. The burnout is real and you have to protect your energy. In the beginning, you start excited. You go through the tutorials, 5 hours, 6 hours, every single day, learning through it, clearing all the concept, finding the solution if you are going through any kind of problems, managing the time for it. You are going through the tutorials at double the speed. But fast forward few months later, you are confused, you are completely exhausted and wondering, you are even meant for this coding? I understand this because I have also gone through the same. And nowadays as well, I go through the same. Sometimes in weekend, we have to spend our hours try to fixing the bugs which has already been intimidating me, finding the solution for the same, not able to figure out what actually the problem is, not even the proper sleep, not even taking the proper rest, not even concern up so much about what I have been eating, not even taking any kind of rest. And in the end, yes, the problem has been solved and also completely drained with the energy. And actually, that is not the win, that is actually the warning. The idea that best developer grind 24 into 7 is completely nonsense. They take a rest, they give some space to their life, and they come back again solve the problem according to their understanding. So it depends. We do not have to be the one who would be so much concerned of the problem. We have to take some rest. Maybe we could find better problems. And I could share one of the stories that it generally happens with most of the developers, and it also happens to me every times. Most of the time, we could say. Sometimes we are just frustrated of finding the solution of the problems, not able to figure out. Complete day has already gone on. I came to the home, even not able to figure out. Just take some rest. Maybe in the morning, I was able to figure out. It was completely very simple. How it happened? It generally happens. We have to take some space in between in order to solve the problem which we have been facing through, and that's it. It will be sorted out. Think of your brain like the battery, and you definitely would not like to run the phone all day long in 1% of the charge. So why would you do with yourself? The productivity is not about the burnout, it's about the sustainability, and you always have to remember this. So in short, if I quickly recap all those points, the first point here would be, you don't need to know everything in the start. And the second one here would be, you have to first learn how to learn the things. And third one, the perfectionism is just a trap. You just have to start. Whatever the resources you have, whichever the situation you have been going through, and wherever you are, just start. And the fourth one is, you will never feel ready. You are always ready than you think. And then after, the real skill is actually the solving problem. And also, the burnout is real. So always try to protect your energy, and then only you will be able to further proceed yourself, right? Because if you are completely drained with your energy, how it is possible for you to actually make your second step and to make things happen according to your need? It is not going to be happening. And even one of this point hit you today, then it was worth watching. Thank yourself for the time which you have invested here, and let me know in the comment section which point of this you wish someone told you earlier. And thank you very much the time which you have given to yourself, and definitely we'll see you very soon.